When engineering with other musos, there's normally one of two different approaches that guitarists make in the studio. They'll either come in with the attitude of, not sure how to best capture my guitar sound, what have you got to offer, what can we play with, what combinations can we muck around with? Or they have a very different approach of, this is my sound, end of story, we need to work with it. And the fun thing about both of those things is either one is very adventurous and exciting to see what you can create and put together for the muso to be excited and to perform to their best, or the limitations of what you've got to use and work with to create something. So what I thought would be pretty cool is I have a pedal here that I'm not a huge fan of, the Belcat Distortion pedal there. And have yet to get some decent results out of this, but what I thought was, if someone came in with a very cheap setup and had the clone precision drive, I'll put those both in for the thumbnail of this video. So I thought if they came in with this live setup with a Harley Benton 2x12, and I've got the Harley Benton, let's see if I can disconnect this to put this in the camera, GPA 100. So a very cheap setup to see how it all work and what we can actually do with it, because I think this could be really interesting. So I'll hook up my SM57 up to the cabinet and let's plug all this in, start mucking around and see what sounds we can actually come up with. All right, everything's plugged in, ready to go. Grab my Omsby guitar here, tuned down to drop G, which is heaps of fun. And that's bland and boring. Let's see if we can spruce it up with this. It's all right, actually, not too bad. But we want more, a bit more volume. Let's muck around a bit with the tone. Don't mind it. So distortion's at half. Let's see if we just pull it back a little bit. For science. So it makes it a bit louder. That's not peaking, is it? Oh, nowhere near peaking. It's just very loud in the room. Not a bad thing though. So I don't know, like adds a lot of hiss with that distortion having it up high, but I don't know if it adds enough characteristics to want to work around that and do it. But this drive should clean it up a bit. So let's leave it a little bit like this for now with the tone how it is in the distortion. So and see how much this can clean it up, and it might get rid of that hiss. Let's see. So drive at 0, bright is there, volume is somewhere there. So I don't know how this is going to work. So straight away it cuts off a lot of the that hiss, which is good. It's not that bad. Definitely sharpens it up nicely. So let's see if we can muck around with this a little bit. So firstly, a bit more volume, because there is a big volume dip. So that's a better level. Can we make it a little bit more genty? Let's find out. So brightness. I've forgotten how to play that. Don't mind it. Pull it back a little bit though. I prefer it higher, but let's muck around with a couple of other things first before we get too excited. So the attack has 5 different switches, I think. Let's try the drive first. Let's see if it needs a bit more oomph or not. See, that might work good with a bit more brightness with that drive. Maybe not. I like it, but for science, let's just crank it a bit. Yeah, I think it adds a little bit too much unwanted noise, and it doesn't improve it enough for me really to want to pursue it, if that makes sense. So let's check out the different attack positions. So we've got position 1. Next position. Come on, Tiger, you can do it. There we go. I like that one. Next one. So 2 more. Go back. A little bit too weak, that one. So I'm guessing this might be the weakest. So that takes away a lot of the aggression. But let's see if we add in the drive to that. That gives us something very different, but rad. I really don't mind that. So it's either the drive with that, so a bit of drive with the attack at the end, or no drive, and I think it was this one. mucking around with the brightness now with this. So, a couple of things here. Firstly, that sounds very cool. It sounds very over the top. There is a lot of genty juiciness in this that I fucking love. It's great. It's got a lot of aggression. It's very sensitive, but a lot of aggressive things are sensitive. In a really good way though. I like the characteristics and the bite this is really giving us. I like the different amount of characteristics you can add to it just with the right hand when you're playing. So there is, as sensitive as it is, there's still a large spectrum on how you can implement whatever characteristics you want to, if that makes sense. I really like that. Compared to turning it off. Like it is on the extremist side of cutting through, so to speak, but I think it's very cool. But I'm keen to hear now what it sounds like in a band mix. So I'll take a bit of a step away for a moment. I'll add some bass, double up on the guitars with some drums, and let's see how it holds up in that little stress test. So sit back and enjoy, and we'll have a chat about it on the other side. So I decided to do 2 different jams just so I could see what it was like without the precision drive on, because I feel like a lot of people might think that you're losing too much bottom end. But the thing that I love about this is how much more clarity you had in all the lower registration of the guitar, and how much more aggression, I felt anyway, came through, and how much clearer and cut through the guitars were after using this. But that's how I felt. Definitely keen for your thoughts though. But just going over these 2 things, another thing I just thought of as well is how cheap this setup is. So I'm dealing in Australian dollars here, but we have $400 for the speakers, $100 for the GPA amp, so up to $500. The precision drive I think was $80, and I think the Belcat was $50. So we're what, 600, Gotta do my basic maths now. $630, not including cables and the guitar. But you know, under 650 bucks, that's a pretty rad sound that you can get. That is definitely, I'd want to tweak with it more after hearing what it sounded like post with my, not so much really my mic position, but you know, needs a little bit more backwards and forwards with the different tone, not just with the Belcat, but with the precision drive, just to balance it out a little bit with those riffs. But for what we did for this video, I thought it worked really, really well. And yeah, as I said, under $650, let's say $700. Let's include shipping, just to really push the point. So for 700 bucks, you've got a live setup ready to rock and roll with some pretty cheap, nasty, but usable. Very, very usable, especially the precision drive, how much this can actually clean up and do. And one thing I loved about what this pedal did was not only bring that characteristics of aggression that I love and that djenty juiceness, but its gate that it has in it. Really, really cleaned up what the Belcat was just naturally bringing into it. So there you have it. Two little jams with different setups there, well, not really different setups, but with the Siege drive on and off. But definitely keen to hear what your thoughts were in it. How'd you feel, how I dialed it in? How'd you feel about the two different jams? And yeah, just your general thoughts about it and whatever. It's all good. Love having the conversations. So thank you very much for joining me in this video. It was fun putting it together and just having a bit of a cool jam and muck around on the guitar. And I thoroughly look forward to chatting with you next time. And until then, stay safe.